Greetings and salutations. Here for our Oracle Monday card pull. Just inviting you in this moment to just pause, take a breath, just dropping into the heart space and set the intention to call in a message that's in the greatest and highest good of the collective. You know, there is so much that's happening right now, so many shifts that are taking place, that continue to take place, that have been taking place, and it's so important that we're finding ways to sustain as we're moving forward, as things are changing and moving. You know, there's a lot that's happening that can instill fear, you know, a lot that is intensifying the anger, intensifying the division, right? And it's so important, right, that we are seeking connection, we're seeking community, openness, vulnerability, that we're seeking healing, right, within ourselves, within the collective, right? So setting the intention to call in clarity, wisdom, and guidance that can help us as we navigate this path forward, right? A message that helps us recognize the strength and the power that we have within ourselves, that helps us recognize how capable we are of affecting change, right? We're not helpless. We're not hopeless, right? There's still so much hope as long as you trust and believe that, right? There's hope. The change that we are wanting to see, it has to start with each one of us, right? So it's just allowing yourself to recognize that and setting the intention to be open to the path that takes you there, right? And it's not going to be an easy path. It's going to be heavy. It's going to be painful. It's going to be uncomfortable, right? But that discomfort is helping us to stretch and grow and evolve, right? So allowing ourselves to be open to that discomfort, right? To allowing ourselves to stepping out of our comfort zones, you know? But yeah, so just pause in this moment and take a deep breath. A full exhale. Just relaxing into this moment. Relaxing into the energy of this moment. Connecting in with the collective intention to call in peace, to call in love, to call in liberation for all beings in all places. So this one, oops, it flipped over. So we have this one that flipped over and this one that fell out. The one that fell out, Lord, take charge with authority. And then Mirror Guardian, take time to reflect. Yeah, take charge with authority. You know, I think just us as a collective, as a people, you know, so often we're waiting for an outside force, right? Our government, our politicians, people in these positions of power, right? We're waiting for them to do something that's going to make things right, and I think it's time that we recognize that we are the ones that have to act, right? We are the ones that have to take action. We have to create that change that we want to see, because it's becoming increasingly more obvious that the people in power are not here for the people, right? They're not here to support the people, right? They are here for, those with the deep pockets, right? And it isn't even always that that's just what they want to do. They want to be, they want their allegiance to be to these, people, and corporations, and, like big tech, big pharma. I think in many cases, well, it's not that there's no choice. It's that there's things that are being held over people, often. I don't think it's just that people are willing to sell out humanity for money. I think there's a lot of fear, just looking at what happened with Charlie Kirk recently, right? And the fear that he was experiencing before that happened, right? Fear because of some of the things that he was saying, right? So just kind of looking at all of that and recognizing that we cannot rely on the people in power to create the changes that we want to see. We cannot rely on them to make the changes that are going to benefit the people. That is not going to happen, right? Our governments are not going to suddenly start caring about us, right? So we have to kind of let go of that pipe dream, because it's not coming, right? It's not. Little by little, they're just kind of revealing what actually is, right? And it's important that we allow ourselves to see that, And then the other card, okay, so the first card was Lord. Take charge with authority. We need to take charge of this movement forward, right? We need to take charge and responsibility within our own lives and take accountability for, where it is that we are as a collective. We have to recognize how we participate and perpetuate these systems of oppression, right? None of it's going to change unless we change, right? Because they are not going to change, right? That's not going to change. We have to be the ones that change. We have to be the ones that take action, right, in the direction that we want to go in. We have to recognize that we are being played, like that's really what it is. We are being played. And it's hard to face that, I think. It's hard to face that, because when we really take a step back and we look at what actually is, we realize that, damn, like so much of it is a lie, and I've believed that. And that's a hard pill to swallow. It's a hard pill to swallow, to recognize that I am capable of being brainwashed. I'm capable of being conditioned, right? But we don't have to feel bad about that. This is like decades, centuries long, right? It's been conditioning that has been passed down through generations, right? So we don't have to feel bad about it, right? We just have to allow ourselves to recognize it and to see it, right? So that we can start doing the work to unlearn it, right? And the other card that came up, Mirror Guardian, take time to reflect, right? So as we are moving forward, right, and these truths continue to be unveiled and we continue to recognize, all that is, right? We need to get solid within ourselves, right? We need to allow ourselves to look within ourselves, yeah. Let's see, Timus. Maybe I'll read this one. I'll read Mirror Guardian. Okay. Take some time to reflect on your strengths and challenges and how far you've come. Recognize your gifts. Angels accept you just the way you are. Even when you're going through a challenging time, they still hold you in the highest esteem. The Mirror Guardian, a female angel looking into the mirror of life, invites you to witness your spiritual strength and beauty, to see yourself as angels do. The mirror represents the fact that your core beliefs and ideas are in fact what is reflected back to you by your world. Your life is one big mirror of how you feel within, and the Mirror Guardian helps you recognize that. When this card appears, you're being invited to take some time to see where you are right now. You're a beautiful being who has summoned so many challenges and expanded in so many ways. Your angels are now guiding you to take inventory of your life, to take the time to note all of your recent experiences, the challenges you have surmounted, the strengths you have developed, and the lessons you have learned. Your angels want you to reflect on your strengths, in particular those aspects of yourself that you feel have not been acknowledged by others. Offer yourself approval where it's due, and know that when you give yourself credit, others will be able to as well. All right. Oops. Let's read Lord as well. Be open and receptive to information. Gather facts so that you can make a decision that's in line with your integrity. The oracle is a truth speaker and insight. Oh, oops, wrong one. How did I get there? Lord, don't be afraid to take charge or use your voice. Be strong. The Lord is the consort of the lady, the emperor in the traditional tarot. He represents an authoritative male who isn't afraid to lay down the law. But this doesn't mean he's angry or chauvinistic. He's self-possessed, reliable, and ambitious, a man of honor who has earned his place in society. The Lord in this oracle holds a ram's staff and wears a crown of antlers, showing he keeps himself firmly rooted in the ground and is protective of his people. His regal air indicates he has a taste for the finer things in life, yet he's sensitive to those who are less fortunate than he is. Sometimes you have to take control in order to be honored. If you feel that your kindness or gifts are being taken for granted, it's time to change that, right? And just looking at that in the context of the collective, right? The people are being exploited, right? In so many different ways. In our labor, right? Within the workforce, we are the ones that are doing the hard labor that is enriching the people at the top, right? So we continue to participate in that hard labor while those at the top continue to pack their pockets, right? And also they exploit our emotions, right? They use our emotions against us to create more division, right? Again, going back to what happened to Charlie Kirk, immediately, the immediate response was a fighting response, right? And we have to be wary of that. We have to be mindful of that. We have to reflect within ourselves, all emotions are valid, right? Everything that you feel, everything that comes up for you, valid, right? We shouldn't be policing or, condemning people for the emotions that they're having and how they're responding, right? It's not about that. but it's about recognizing within ourselves, right? How did you respond? What are the feelings that came up for you? Reflect on that. Reflect on what that means for you. Recognize how our emotions are being used to sow even greater division, right? So allowing ourselves to reflect within, instead of projecting everything out onto to other people and placing blame or pointing fingers outward, right? Recognizing that there are people in power who have a vested interest in us pushing our emotions out at other people, against them, lashing out, right? These moments are just tools that they use to push us even further apart, right? Because it is a dangerous thing to those in power when the people come together, when we recognize the power that we have when we're united, right? They're afraid of that, right? So, we gotta get it together, you know? There is no excuse for bad behavior, and the ancestors are encouraging you to hold your ground and speak your mind in a fiercely loving way. In a fiercely loving way. So it doesn't mean hold back on sharing your truth. Share your truth, but share it through a lens of love, right? Share it with compassion and understanding, not as a weapon, right? You have the energy and might to overcome dramas or energies that aren't working for your growth. And it's time to take charge before you find yourself in a situation you don't want to be in. You're being encouraged to be the boss instead of being bossed. This card also brings the energy of ambition and can show you have and can show Oh, this card also brings the energy of ambition and can show you have the potential to move upwards on a professional level, but only if you act with authority and show who you really are. Yeah. I think that's a really important one. Both of them, because how is it that we're able to stand in our truth, right? To really speak with authority, right? We have to go within, right? We have to really connect in with that truth, right? Because I feel like a lot of us have been hiding from it, So allowing ourselves to tap into that, to be open to feeling all the feels that come along with that, because it's not an easy road, right? It's not easy to dig through all the different stories that have been packed in there. It's not easy to allow ourselves to unpack all the pain that has been suppressed, right? So something that can be done in community, for me, one thing that I've been wanting to do, I've actually had it set up, but I have not been, really consistent with it or proactive with it. So mentioning it here now, holding myself accountable. Once a month, I'm going to be doing a virtual community check-in, right? Just a space where we can come together, connect in with each other, meditate and breathe with each other, and talk, process, navigate through all the big feels that we're feeling right now, because there's a lot that's happening and we shouldn't be doing it on our own, right? It's something that we need to be doing together, and I'm not saying that I have all the answers. I don't. I don't really have any answers. I have a lot of questions myself, but I know what I can provide. I know the kind of support that I'm able to provide, and I'm open to also seeking support, and I think it's something that we develop in community, So second, I think I'm going to be changing it to the second Tuesday of every month. Initially, I had it the second Thursday, but I'm going to be doing the second Tuesday of every month. I have a friend that I would love to participate in it, and Tuesdays are her only day off. So, yeah, so second Tuesday of every month, it's going to be happening. Yeah, because there's so much that we're navigating through, and it helps when we do that together. But yeah, again, the cards: Lord, take charge with authority. Mirror Guardian, take time to reflect. Yes. And with that, I shall bid you adieu. Sending so much love.